everybody, and welcome back to another Doctor Who action figure product review. In today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at yet another variant of the 13th Doctor, as portrayed by Jodie Whittaker. This time round, the 5.5 action figure wearing bum bag and a light blue shirt, as seen within the Series 11 story, Arachnids in the UK. Now, this action figure is in fact a USA exclusive, and if you are a UK Doctor Who fan, you need to order this online from the likes of Amazon and get it shipped from overseas. Therefore, as a result, the recommended retail price is ever so slightly higher. However, I do recommend certainly searching online to try and get the bestest possible price to add this to your collection. Now, even though this is a US exclusive, don't worry about this figure being anything too exciting. It is in fact very similar to all the other 13th Doctor action figures that we've seen released as a part of the line so far. So much so that this review is in fact going to be a 2-in-1, as I'm going to be taking a look at not one 13th Doctor, but two 13th Doctor action figures, because funnily enough, I still haven't reviewed the 13th Doctor UK release that was of course released in early 2020, being the 13th Doctor wearing a bum bag and pink shirt in the Series 11 story, Rosa. Now, the recommended retail for this figure was around £9.99 originally. I did in fact pick it up on the Character Options website in order to get free delivery on the Jungles of Mechanus collector set. I do believe that a vast majority of retailers are in fact now stocking it for pretty much half price, from around £5 to £6. So far within the Character Options line, we have of course seen three different variations of the 13th Doctor, the first of which wearing a dark blue shirt released in late 2018, and all of these figures are indeed very similar. So as a result, for this review, I'm going to be keeping the American variation of the 13th Doctor within the packaging. I'm going to be taking a look at the 13th Doctor wearing a pink shirt out of the packaging, because to be quite honest, there isn't too much between them, and the figure looks really nice in the box as it is. I don't really feel like I'm going to get too much from opening up out of the box. The packaging style guide for this action figure is exactly the same to usual, so at the very bottom we get the inclusion of a character title card stating that this is the 13th Doctor with bag and sonic screwdriver accessory. I do believe that there is a slight variation on the USA release where you also have this additional warning sticker, which I do believe is not present on the UK releases. And of course, to finish off, at the very top we get the inclusion of the Doctor Who logo in a white coloured typeface. Flipping around to the back of the box, the back of the packaging on both variations of the 13th Doctor are exactly the same. We have the Doctor Who logo at the very top, with the Character Options details at the very bottom. Within the centre, we get an advertisement for a few other pieces of 13th Doctor merchandise, some of which I have already reviewed, including the TARDIS sonic screwdriver and reconnaissance Dalek. So here we have all three variations of the 13th Doctor so far, side by side, and the first thing to note is that all of them are very similar. Generally, if you have one 13th Doctor action figure, you know what to expect, because they all follow exactly the same sculpt. You have a few notable paint application changes, especially in comparison to that of the original release here from 2018. There has been a very notable change within the skin tone overall, and the details that have been applied to the likeness. Of course, the sculpt itself is absolutely brilliant. It most certainly looks like Jodie Whittaker. Development over time has vastly improved. One of the other notable changes is of course the colour within the hair itself. On the latest pink and lighter blue releases, it's much more natural, much more darker, and the roots have been blended in much better. One of the most consistent parts of the 13th Doctor's costume is the overcoat, retaining pretty much the same details across all three variants. Sculpted in a lighter blue plastic, including a darker blue trim around the hem, and additional emphasis on the outline of the cuffs and the pockets, also using a darker blue paint application. At the top of the shoulders, we have the overhang of the hood, excellently sculpted with various folds of the material, looking very natural indeed. The same creased and wrinkled material effect is seen across the entirety of the costume, really adding to its detail overall. A lovely inclusion is a smaller rainbow ribbon style band present on the lining of the coat, replicated using yellow, red and green. This is sharp across all three variants. The trousers are a lovely stunning shade of lighter blue, which could be ever so slightly lighter with a more pastel finish compared to that of the 2018 original version, but there really isn't that much in it. Towards the bottom, we have the suggestion of the Doctor's fluffy blue socks, and the walking boots painted using a series of different shades of brown, really replicating that worn appearance which is seen on screen. The pink and USA variants of the 13th Doctor have the addition of a bum bag. This doesn't really make that much sense for the UK pink variant, as the combo was never really seen on screen itself. However, it's still nice to see it included as a display option. The bum bag is much more suited to the lighter blue US variation of 13, sporting her look from arachnids in the UK. Sculpting wise, this thing is about as exciting as the Battle of Ranskor av Kalos, sculpted in a black plastic with some very, very minor details. Now, if you aren't particularly a fan of the bum bag on the 13th Doctor, it can be removed. Now, something of which I will warn you is you do need to bend back the coat ever so slightly, and if this is done too often, it will create a little bit of stress around here where the material has been moved, so I recommend not doing this too often because it will cause a little bit of a line. But as you can see here, we do have a little bit of a dot which can be pulled ever so slightly, and the bum bag can be simply removed as so. And of course, by doing this, it does reveal an ever so slightly more accurate appearance to what was seen throughout the Series 11 story, Rosa. The bag itself is made out of a rather flexible material, making its removal rather easy. Turning to take a closer look at the pink variation, this is a lovely shade that has been used on the shirt, and a stark change to that of the original. The yellow braces are present at each side, and the rainbow bands seem to be pretty similar in colour to that of the original release, however stand out much more compared to the lighter background colour. The US variant is my personal favourite overall. A much more vibrant blue has been used, and it blends perfectly with the surrounding darker shade of blue seen on the coat. Again, the braces are present, and the rainbow is lovely and crisp. Taking a closer look at that likeness to the 13th Doctor, again, absolutely superb. The sculpt most certainly looks like Jodie Whittaker. However, overall, the paint application has been upgraded compared to that of the 2018 version. This time round, it looks much more precise. We have lots of lovely crisp paint applications on this. In particular, at the very top, we get the inclusion of the eyebrows, which have been painted using a lovely lighter brown. And then we also have some rather intricate detailing on the eyes as well, which overall stand out a lot more compared to that of the 2018 release, with the inclusion of the eye whites, the iris, and even a rather thin black line at the very top to represent the eyelids. We also get the inclusion of the lips, which this time round have been painted a rather light pink. We move towards the sides of the face. Of course, we get the additional sculpting of the ear around the side there, which has also been given a silver paint application to represent the earrings. I'm really hoping that this side-by-side comparison really does show off how much the paint application has indeed improved since the original. Of course, you have a much paler colour palette overall on the original, in particular for the hair itself, as well as those very obvious roots at the very top of the head. The US variant continues this progression, blending the darker and lighter shades of the roots even further, in particular on the front curl of the hair. I much prefer this finish to that of the original version, as it looks more natural and generally stands out in a much more effective way. It doesn't look like she's got a giant spider plonked on her head. All three variants of the 13th Doctor do come packaged with a sonic screwdriver accessory. However, due to the way the hands have been sculpted, this can be rather difficult to hold. You can't really get her to point the sonic screwdriver, much like how she does on many occasions throughout the series itself. This has been replicated using a small piece of plastic which has been painted silver, with a few additional details brought out using a yellow highlight. So in conclusion, for these two different variations of the 13th Doctor as produced by Character Options, if you have the original 2018 version, then you know exactly what to expect here, because the sculpt is exactly the same, and for the most part the vast majority of the components of the outfit are pretty much identical as well. Of course, both of these two variants do have the added inclusion of the bum bag, which is a nice accessory, and also makes these figures stand out ever so slightly more compared to that of the original. As for the UK pink variation of Jodie, yes, the pink shirt is lovely. It's a great stark change to that of the darker blue seen on the original. There's nothing too much else to it. I don't recommend this figure for the pink shirt itself. I recommend it for the sculpt of the head, because overall we have some lovely paint application that has been used on this, which is a vast improvement to that of the original. Much more vibrant colours have been used, in particular on the hair, and overall the sharpness of the paint application on the facial features is also a vast improvement. So if you can get this figure for around under £10, then to be quite honest, you can't really go wrong. And as for the USA variation, I think the all-important question is how much do you want a 13th Doctor action figure wearing this particular shade of t-shirt? If the answer is very, very much, then yes, by all means get the American version and maybe pay ever so slightly more in order to get this variant. Of course, due to it being a US variation, there is that collector's value in there. Do you have a feeling that this figure is eventually going to get released generally in the UK? Maybe Amazon in the UK will get stock or something like that. Or maybe even it might be released as a part of the B&M series. I can't see this figure remaining fully exclusive for long, and to be honest, you can get it shipped over here to the UK for considerably cheap anyway. So yes, it's a nice variant, however, not the be-all and end-all. It's my personal favourite of the 13th Doctors that have been released so far, but again, there isn't really much differences to that of the other versions, other than the nice blue on the shirt and a bum bag. And there we have it, that is my review of the 13th Doctor wearing a light blue shirt and pink shirt. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Do of course stay tuned on the Host Productions for brand new Doctor Who content each and every week, from audio drama reviews, product reviews and much, much more. And on that note, have a nice day, I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.